One of my favorite designer exclusive or private collections is the Dior Privée line of fragrances. And I've wanted to do a top 10 list. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and put it together. We're going to discuss this coming right up. Hi guys, it's Sebastian with Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great. Thanks so much for tuning in. That's right, this is my top 10 Dior Privée collection fragrances. This is one of my favorite exclusive collections from a major designer. These are more niche style fragrances compared to their basic designer offerings. So they're not readily available at every department store. Although here in San Francisco, you can find these fragrances at two different department stores. It used to be just Neiman Marcus. Now Saks Fifth Avenue also carries them. So I can go to either of the stores and buy them at any time I want, which is a luxury for me. But yeah, the bigger cities carry these lines. And it's a line that I've known about for the last 5 years. And I've had various fragrances from the collection. But there are a few that I've really loved and I'm happy to have bottles of. And those are the best ones for me, and they'll be at the top of the list. But at the back of the list, we'll start out with some of the ones that I don't have full bottles of, and I'm just going to go ahead and basically mention, and we'll have one honorable mention as well. So to start things off with, my honorable mention is Leather Oud, which I have a small bottle of right here, but I just finished my big bottle, but I had not worn the whole entire bottle myself because Leather Oud is one of the most animalic fragrances that I had in my collection, and it was all about civet, leather, oud, just an intense version of all those notes combined for a perfume. Now I did like it a lot. At one point I was wearing a lot of it, but it just became heavier and heavier on me. I don't know, perhaps something to do with global warming or the city becoming much warmer than it used to be 5 years ago, so I wouldn't pull for it as much. So I'm not sure I'll be getting another full bottle, but my little bottle here is fine. I have a few of these, and again, it's very animalic, and if you like your animalic fragrances, you will like it. But at one point I liked it a lot more, and I don't love it as much now. That's why it's number 11 on my list. My number 10 is another one that I've had a full bottle of, I no longer have, and it's one of their discontinued ones. It's Granville. It's really, I have a small bottle of it again. Just a really fresh and aromatic citrus and pine, basically, pine needle. It's inspired by, I think, the city that Dior used to live in, and I'm bummed it's gone. It's discontinued now. I felt like it was one of the most freshest aromatic fragrances around, and I really like the fact that the citrus, the lemon citrus in there, such a great contrast with the pine note, made it really beautiful. Anyway, if you can find yourself a bottle, I mean, actually, come to think of it, I just was at Neiman Marcus the other day and they still had some bottles there, so I'm assuming they still have some, which if you're a fan of that fragrance, I would snatch it up. But a really lovely fragrance to wear, and I really love that particular one from Dior Privée. So that's number 10. So at number 9, we're going to Patchouli Imperial. Now, I've never really worn a full bottle of Patchouli Imperial, but I have had multiple decants, and of course my little mini here. And the reason I had never got a full bottle of this is because for some reason this reminded me of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, but more like a patchouli version of Tom Ford's Black Orchid. So yeah, very patchouli with lots of spiciness and woodiness from like a coriander and sandalwood note. They're just really lovely, but still not bottle worthy for me, but a really pleasant scent, especially not bottle worthy for me because I have Black Orchid. Now I have other similar fragrances that are similar to Black Orchid, and that's why I thought I don't need a bottle, but that my little mini bottles are perfect. And the reason this is not behind Granville is because I find Granville to be very basic and pleasant and really awesome that way, but I feel like Patchouli Imperial is a little steps ahead of Granville as far as uniqueness goes. So even though I don't have a full bottle of Patchouli Imperial, I find it to be a great scent. If you like that patchouli style fragrance and you like the Dior collection, definitely check out Patchouli Imperial. So number 8 in the top 10 Dior Privée fragrances collection is Cuir Cannage. This one's a lovely, lovely leather, has a very, very classic touch to it for me. Again, I don't have a full bottle. I have another mini here, but what I like about this is Cuir or queer, the way you say it in French is really complicated, and I've done videos about the pronunciation of cuir. I think that's how you pronounce it, but cuir basically means leather, and it's a leather, iris, and birch dominant fragrance. Really, really lovely, but has a very, very vintage or classic touch to it for me. And still have not owned a bottle of it, but I do really like it, and I think it's one of the stronger scents in the collection. Definitely stronger than Patchouli Imperial. So if you like leather and you haven't sampled this, definitely give it a try. Cuir Cannage at number 8. So number 7 is one that's discontinued, but here's the kicker. The thing I didn't mention at the beginning of this video is I'm going to tell you how you can get some of these discontinued fragrances, because in Paris, a lot of the discontinued ones like Vetiver, Mitzah, and the one I'm going to talk about now, and of course Granville, are somehow available in Paris. The one I'm going to talk about now is called Eau Noire, and what I like about Eau Noire is it's lavender and it's got coffee. And some people complain about it. They don't like this one because it kind of comes off molassesy or syrupy or maple syrup, and it does. But the lavender is so potent in here that I really enjoy it. But it's a bummer it's discontinued here in the States, but it's kind of, okay, here's the thing with the availability in Paris. So I was in Paris in January and I was able to pick up a bottle of Mitzah and Vetiver. They were there, they had them. They don't have quantities and quantities of them, but they have minimal releases of them available to buy in Paris. So if you're looking for these fragrances and you like them, you can go to the Dior boutique that sells the fragrances, or like a place like Galeries Lafayette, where I bought my Vetiver and Mitzah, and you can pick them up there and bring them back because they're not selling them in the States. And the same thing with Eau Noire. I think they would do the same thing, and of course Granville as well. But Eau Noire is really, really lovely. It's not Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but it's Francis Kurkdjian perfumer is the nose behind that one, and I really like it. And it's a bummer I never got a full bottle of it, but I have several of these. What do you call it? The little mini bottles of Eau Noire that I will cherish for a while. But if at all I want to pick up a bottle and I'm in Paris and I see one, I'll definitely pick up a bottle. So that's number 7. And then we go to number 6, and now we're going to the full bottles. Number 6 is Bois D'Argent right here, this one. And something really beautiful and very, very simple to wear kind of a fragrance here. It's powdery, of course, and somewhat buttery, and also very sparkly, with like a, what do you call it? Like a cologne kind of a backbone. So you got that powderiness from the iris and butteriness and a sparkliness, but then you got this like traditional cologne in the background for some reason. Just a really, really pleasant scent. I don't pull for it much, but if you're looking for an easy to wear fragrance from the Dior Privée collection, but you want a little intensity or like oomph to it, Bois D'Argent is one to pull for. It's very, very easy to wear, so I like that one. So we're going into the top 5. Another one full bottle here is Oud Ispahan. This right here. So Oud Ispahan is all about oud and roses from Ispahan, or just Oriental style roses in here. Now it's not what it used to be. When I first bought my first bottle of Oud Ispahan, it's gotten a lot lighter, and unfortunately doesn't last as long as it used to. But still, what a great scent. And great color of the juice as well. So check out Oud Ispahan if you don't know it, but if you're looking for something a little more potent, there is a fragrance called Diptyque's Oud Palau, which is not so much rose but has similarities to it. So check out Oud Ispahan if you're into the rose and oud combo. Number 4 is Ambre Nuit. This right here, very, very easy to wear. amber. This is one of the easiest ambers to wear if you're looking for not too intense, not too deep, rich, thick, heavy amber. This one's the one. Plus it has a light rose note that is very, very lovely. One of the easiest to wear in the collection next to Bois D'Argent is Ambre Nuit. Pleasant scent and yeah, very popular in the fragrance community. If you haven't tried it, definitely get your noses on it. All right, the next one is one that I brought back from Paris recently, the discontinued one. It's Vetiver. One of my favorite Vetivers, hands down. In fact, it's my #1 next to Sycamore. So Vetiver here is #1 and Sycamore is #2. But this is one of the best Vetiver fragrances. So, so lovely. It is a very fresh but deep, rich vetiver with a coffee note. So that coffee note adds a unique touch, but the coffee is not heavy. You're not going to smell like, you know, brewed coffee. It's there, but just more vetiver. Just really, really yummy vetiver. This is so good, so good. So I'm so happy that I have this bottle now, and I also have another half bottle, which is one of the very first bottles I bought. So I've been testing out the both and seeing which one lasts longer, if there was any reformulation, but they're both very similar, so I don't see any differences. And again, these are really easy to find in Paris at the Galeries Lafayette or the Dior boutique. It's just they don't put them out too much. You'd have to call and request it and you can pick it up pretty much. So Dior Vetiver is #3. And #2 is Mitzah, another one that I picked up with the Vetiver. And Mitzah is also one I have another full bottle of, not a full bottle, half bottle, but this is one I've been using, comparing. And they are very, very similar. There's no differences in the concentration or the formulation or anything. And this one, oh my God, it's an amber, but a spicy amber inspired by one of Christian Dior's muses, Mitzah. I think her last name is Bricard, but it's got cinnamon. And even though both these are ambers, completely different ambers, very easy to wear, very spicy. And cinnamon is pretty dominant here. So if you don't like cinnamon, you might not like this one, but oh boy, it's so good. It is one of the, to me, one of the best fragrances up until this one that came out a few years ago. But otherwise, this would be at #1. So, as I said, if you're looking to buy Mitzah or Vetiver, definitely call around in Paris or France and see if you can pick up these fragrances. Because, like I said, they have limited availability with them. They're just not available, especially in the States, but in France they are. So #1, okay, this is the very first time I bought a giant bottle, like an extremely giant bottle. I had a discount at Neiman Marcus just around the Thanksgiving holiday. Plus they had gifts. They didn't have any of the regular size left, so I ended up with the large bottle. So Feve Délicieuse. This is 200 ml, and this doesn't spray unfortunately, so I have to put it in an atomizer. But boy, this is so good. So Feve Délicieuse has become my #1 next to Mitzah. And this is all about tonka bean with a cacao, dusting of cacao on top. So it's very, very delicious. It's my favorite gourmand fragrance. Happens to be from a designer, but the more expensive private collection. But if you don't know Feve Délicieuse, check it out. A lot of people like Tonka Imperial by Guerlain over this, but I prefer this one so much more than Tonka Imperial. So Feve Délicieuse is definitely #1 in my top 10 Dior Privée collection fragrances. So guys, what do you think? What do you think of this list? Are you familiar with Dior Privée collection or the private collection? What are your favorite Dior Privée fragrances? Which one do you like more than the other? Which one do you prefer to add? Which do you wish you tried, now it's gone? And which do you wish for it to come back? I know that Dior Privée collection is getting a facelift, I had heard. There's a rumor. They're also launching a brand new collection of Dior Privée fragrances. Should be launched any time now that I've been hearing about. And I've also seen photos, a lot of activity in the Facebook group that I have. People were posting pics of the new collection of fragrances. They're all like very like muted, lighter colored juice in the collection. lots of pinks and light pinks and light yellows. So I'm waiting to find out what this collection is, this new collection is, and I'm also waiting to find out if all of these fragrances are going to get the reformulation or whatever they're doing, redesigning or rebranding treatment they're going to get. But I'm glad to have these in my collection, and I'm especially very happy to have these two, and of course a big one of this in my collection because they're so good. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Let's put them questions and comments down below, and let's get a conversation started. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.